It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Well, folks, what's happening in downtown Hazleton and how does that affect the entire area throughout our viewing area? We have on the show today an update, a progress report. I like that, Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress, and we have a progress report today, folks. What the great things are happening in Hazleton. Just great things, I could tell you. As an owner here, my wife and I owning a property in downtown Hazleton, it makes us feel good. We don't mind paying that mortgage payment every month and paying the taxes and helping people. Today, we'll talk to Neil DeAngelo, who is the president of the Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress, and executive director Krista Schneider, who is doing you're doing a great job, Krista. Seriously. Not only do you have great neighbors, but you're also doing a great job. Okay, I'm telling you, Neil.
Yes.
We started this idea in the late 2013. Okay. Right. You need this like you need another head, okay? Because you know the DeAngelo brothers have so much going for them. Decided to bring the world headquarters down here, which is great for the city of Hazleton. Your dad and your uncle could have gone anywhere, but they decided to invest in areas that they believe in, which is great, such as what Debbie and I did here, and we in our family, Janine and Sammy. Let's talk about when you started, late 2013. What were some of the principal objectives that the Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress had?
Well, really a lot of what we were trying to focus on in the first year was just getting ourselves organized, getting things set up, you know, for the future years. And it takes a lot to do that. I mean, the fact that we were able to, and I think within 1 year we've made more progress and done more things than, you know, I don't know what other organizations do like this type of things, but we made a lot of progress. And just getting our organization created, our board, our bylaws, our articles of incorporation, we were able to get our nonprofit status not only, you know, sent in, I guess, but approved, which is a huge step. So now we're established that way. We got committees off the ground, so we have 5 active committees now. So the board is actually, you know, has active committees working.
Well, here's what I'm saying. What did you see? There had to be a need, right? What did you see? Why you then began to get involved? Okay, so the community. I mean, I know the committees, etc. I'm on the, you know, the latest. I mean, right. On the board. But the point is, what did you see? What did you envision here in downtown Hazleton? And then how the process started, and then how Krista got involved.
Okay, well, I mean, one of the first things we did, it was really, we wanted to see what other communities were doing. There was a lot of other communities that are going through a downtown rebirth, a revitalization effort. And so we went and visited some other cities, Lancaster and Reading, and we, you know, since then have visited a couple more. And one of the things that became obvious was we wanted, you know, it was a strategic plan. They all had a strategic plan or some type of study done. So when we came back, it was, well, let's do that. Let's consult or have some consultants come in and, you know, help us put together a plan for downtown Hazleton. And really, we see what Hazleton can be. We have this vision of, you know, a place that may be different than it was in the booming 20s and 30s or even in the 50s, but it, you know, a place where people want to come, a safe place where people can come and work and play and have fun, and, you know, it can be a great thing. A great city, a great downtown again. So, and it's already there. There's a lot of things happening here already. It's just let's use what's already here.
So you had a vision, okay? You had a vision
right.
Along with other people. Number one, before you even started the Alliance for Progress,
right.
You, your dad, and your uncle decided to make a major investment in downtown Hazleton. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
With that being said. You know, we saw what Hayden did, you know, and then thank God they had a majority of people that were supportive. We always have the naysayers, let's put them aside. We're talking about people who said, you know, why is a downtown so important? Anyone in this area, anyone who lives in the city of Hazleton should understand a downtown is very important to the city, okay? So when you saw that vision, okay, and you brought a lot of young people involved and a lot of, I mean, when I came to the very first meeting where you had a lot of owners of businesses from Jimmy's, from Carmen's, you know, from the Felons and all of them, people I was so happy to see, okay, everyone was there to see what we were going to do, and they believed in that, okay? So at that point in time, you had this vision, okay, and then what happens, you start to develop a board, and then when did Krista come on board?
Really, it was, I guess, a year ago, in the beginning of January. We knew that this was more than something that a nonprofit volunteer board can do on its own. We needed somebody focused on it, a hired professional. Luckily, we had Krista as part of our group, and you know, and passionate about this. So it was a perfect find, perfect thing. You know, and we were lucky enough to get Krista, and she's done a wonderful job.
So when you looked at downtown and you looked at, you know, what you wanted to do, you know, as you had a certain plan, okay, with your committee, but then things started to really explode differently. You know, you started something and all of a sudden, oh wow, we could do this, even though it wasn't in your original plan, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so you formed the board, right? And then at that particular point in time, what started happening? Then your different process starts setting in?
Well, we started talking. There were several things. We had to raise the money. We had, you know, to make the board, you know, for the operational costs and things like that. We started meeting with the community. Let's face it, as a board, I have a vision of downtown. You have a vision of downtown, but it's our downtown. Let's start meeting with the community and get other input, and really make it what Hazleton community people want downtown Hazleton to be.
What did you find when you start meeting, because you had all people there, I mean, all ages there.
Right.
What did you find?
Krista, probably, I mean, you know.
So, Krista, you come into the picture, okay, as executive director. Before you took this endeavor, okay, like, because knowing you, you had to look at, is this something that I want to become involved with? Is this something, not for a job, because I know you, okay, you know, you're concerned about the project and concerned about what good can get. So no matter, even though money is important, but you're for the good of the area first, and then it falls. So why did you look at this, and how did you look at this before you assumed the executive director?
Well, I had been involved from the beginning. I guess you could say there was a parallel track. There were two groups. You know, the DeAngelo and the Hayden families were kind of approaching it and looking at the downtown from their side of things, which was, you know, their real estate investment, they're bringing their company downtown and so forth, and what that could mean in terms of, you know, being a catalyst for rebirth for the downtown. And then I was actually part of, I was serving, and still am actually, on the Can Do Community Foundation board. I was working with the Chamber through my previous job with Barry Isett and Associates, working with the Chamber on a lot of different, you know, the Downtown Overlay District Ordinance, and so through, and working with Can Do as well. So working with those groups, everybody, I think it was very clear, everybody wanted to see some action taken to try to lead, you know, a downtown revitalization process. And so then those two groups, you know, came together, and from there it just, we came together, formed a partnership, and kind of moved up forward.
So you had a major objective, okay, that was to get people together to get input, okay? So when you start doing that, what were some of the things that you were getting input from the people that actually have businesses here in downtown?
Well, there was a certain sense of hope mixed with a degree of, you know, skepticism. You know, can it be done? We hope it can. We really want to see something positive happen, but for so many years, you know, it didn't get like this overnight. We keep seeing, you know, it took decades for the downtown, you know, to become what it's been, and it's going to take a while till it revitalizes. But you know, everybody was hopeful, and everybody wanted to see how they could, you know, pretty much get involved.
And I know the reception we got when we had the meeting with everybody. What kind of reception are you getting after you had that key meeting?
I think everybody has a better understanding of the process that we need to go through as a community. You know, the outreach that's required, the teamwork, a lot of good partnerships, I would say, are being built through the work that we're doing, because you can't, not one group can do it alone. You have to work together. And so people are realizing that they need to work across the, you know, whatever, if it's not party lines necessarily, but, you know, people have different objectives, but they need to kind of put those aside and work together.
So before we get into specifics as what has been accomplished so far, let's talk about the partnerships that you're talking about and how those partnerships evolved, and then will show the people, you know, they already see what's happening. Downtown looks beautiful at night. I mean, it also looks great during the day. How the, I think the city's, huh?
Yeah, it's getting there.
I mean, it's really, and what we have to look forward is even be better, okay?
Yeah.
But downtown looks good, okay? The perception is sad because some people still feel that they can't come downstairs, which is totally wrong. It's safe. I had the captain, chief of police DeAngelo was here, talked many times. I mean, I've walked Wyoming Street. I've walked different, you know, we have no problem with it. Thank God so far. But I mean, the downtown has developed a lot, hasn't it? But talk about some of the partnerships you have.
Well, I think one of the key partnerships certainly has been, you know, we're an affiliate of the Chamber, so the Chamber has been wonderful in, you know, that's where I work out of the Chamber, and they've supported us tremendously. Can Do, you know, the Alliance is just that. It's an alliance of all these different organizations, some public, some private. So certainly the city, you know, we're working together with the city in different ways, you know, Can Do, the Chamber, DHG, HIP, reaching out to the Latino community, trying to build the bridges that are necessary there. You know, we talked about the Legacy Committee, the long-term, time invested businesses, long family-owned businesses that have been in the downtown, but we're also trying to reach a newer generation, you know, the Power organization, you know, we've teamed with them on many different projects, the Second Fridays.
Very aggressive.
Yeah,
And we have a lot of other great partnerships with, you know, the Hazleton Art League, the Hazleton, the museum and the Historical Society. You know, the arts are important parts of downtown, so we have great partnerships. The Y, working closely with the Y. So, I mean, so you
can see how these things are evolving, okay?
Absolutely.
Folks, I'm talking to Neil DeAngelo Jr., is it Jr., right? The third. Neil DeAngelo III, who is president of the Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress, and Krista Schneider, who is the executive director. Now, here's a question. You know, why, you know, I live up maybe in Garfield Street, or I live in the Heights, or I live, you know, in Pine Street, or whatever. Why is the downtown important to me? We come back, we'll discuss that. Plus, Krista will tell us what's happening so far. What about the downtown park? What about the Security Savings Building? What's going to happen there? Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, folks. 24/7. Remember, you can watch all of our shows. We produce 21 local television shows, seeing from Pine Grove all the way up into the Clark Summit area on all the different cable systems. Very happy to announce, folks, that we are now, we're covering close to 250,000 people in the state of Pennsylvania, more than probably some of the local broadcast companies are with all of the different cable systems we're on. This particular show will be seen in the greater Hazleton and also Pottsville area and the Wilkes-Barre area, which is about 300-some thousand people. I want to personally thank you folks for the great support you've given the Sam Lesante Show. Thank you so much. I'm not going to brag about our numbers, but I just appreciate it very much. My email is sam@ssptv.com. Talking about progress in an area, in the greater Hazleton area, we're very happy and very fortunate to have the Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress. We have a group of people who said there's a lot to be done, a lot to be said about downtown Hazleton, and if you come into Hazleton, you'll see what we're talking about. Krista Schneider is the executive director, and Neil DeAngelo is the president. So we talked a little bit, Krista, about, all right, so I live in Hazleton, but I'm not really downtown, and I don't go downtown. Number one, why is this important to me as a homeowner in the city of Hazleton? And what could I do? What would be my role to help? Because I have an investment here. I have a property here, okay?
Well, I think it's important for many reasons. Number one, it's a center for jobs. It's a central commercial business district for the entire region. So, yes, there's the industrial parks and the manufacturing parks, you know, on the outskirts, but Hazleton is really, the downtown is really where you're going to get that mix of, you know, cultural facilities, small businesses, food and restaurant, all these different services. And that's really what people today, when they come and they want to invest in a community, they want to bring their companies, you know, to our region. They want to see that, you know, you have a vibrant downtown and there's, you know, there's things to do, places to go, and people to visit.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about what you've accomplished, because we're going to show some of the people, some of the progress we had. So let's, whatever you want to start.
Yeah, well, with our planning study, we've, like Neil said, we've reached out to the community. We had, I think, maybe 8 or 10 different stakeholder meetings, a couple public meetings, several online surveys. So that outreach has been a tremendous part of our planning study. As far as the results of that, we have, I guess you could say, some short-term immediate goals and objectives, and then some longer-term objectives. The number one priority has been kind of focusing on the core of the downtown. We purchased the security savings building from the county late last year with the goal of converting that into a city arts center. So we're moving forward with that, trying to secure the funding that's necessary for rehabilitation. We're working with the city directly to convert the former Greco parcel that was slated to be a parking garage. And after that funding fell through for that, working with the city to try to convert that into a city park, a public park and plaza that'll be a wonderful venue for different events and festivals and so forth. So those are kind of the immediate priorities, trying to get the funding that's necessary to move those projects forward. We have a facade rehabilitation program. In fact, 13 East Broad is our very first project that's funded with grants from the Can Do Community Foundation. That building has made, and you'll see the before and after photos of what it looked like before and what it looks like now, and it's not even done yet. It's beautiful. So there's a whole bunch of different facade improvements we hope to see in the central business district here and along Wyoming Street. There's a lot of plans for Wyoming Street as well, celebrating.
What are you doing on Wyoming Street?
Well, the plans for Wyoming Street, certainly streetscape improvements are necessary there, similar to what you see on Broad Street, only at a smaller scale and with a different aesthetic. I think Wyoming Street, everybody has kind of recognized that it's the history. It's a significant part of Hazleton's history in that it's a traditionally mom and pop small business community. So you have, you know, the businesses, some of the oldest businesses in the city are still on Wyoming Street, and it's an immigrant business district. And so you have this wonderful blend, you know, of the old and the new, but everybody's still working together to kind of build that American dream. And so there's a lot of plans for kind of recognizing that history, as well as you know, new aesthetics, new design standards for signage and for the streetscape. So there's plans for a mural program. You know, actually throughout the downtown. You know, that'll be a little bit longer out in terms of the future, but you know, working with park improvements, not only here downtown, there's also plans, I mean, not only on Broad Street, but there's plans for a new park, or at least our planning study calls for a new park near Harmon Geist that the community, you know, would enjoy, and hopefully that the school district would benefit from as well. So there's just, you know, there's a bunch of different physical improvements, but then the other initiatives that we have deal with programming. You know, how do you program the downtown for, you know, ways that will bring people into the downtown that don't necessarily come here now. Either they don't work here, or either they work here but then they leave at 5 and they don't stick around. So you need to create that demand for restaurants and for all the services, you know, that make the downtown a 24/7.
So this is where I think the community should become involved. I always appreciate constructive criticism. I think anyone, you know, when you have constructive criticism, it's a growing process, it's a development, even in business. What I don't appreciate is when people are just negative from the word go, and they're just negative on anything, and it destroys the image. It's so important, that image. When people look at the downtown, if I'm thinking, I mean, if Debbie and I invested, and our family invested in a building downtown, if we thought that downtown was terrible and falling apart, we weren't going to do that, okay? So image is important. Be constructive, yes. But that's why sometimes we do not want to air public meetings, because I feel sometimes these people want to make their egos shine instead of worrying about constructive, you know, and everyone understands a good debate, okay? But they come across like they're, you know, in a zoo and in a circus. And that's sad, okay, because they cannot do that behind closed doors. Image is so very important. Now, the good thing about this whole thing, what you guys are doing, is we're improving our image. And you're getting reception, and certainly I'm going to say, look, I disagree with you on this, let's listen to it. You know, so if I'm going to criticize you, then come up with some suggestion, we're willing to listen to it. Would you agree, Neil?
I agree 100%, yeah. And, you know, a perfect example, I think, was Second Fridays in 2014. You know, they were, I would say, very successful. Different ones were better than others. And I think it's something that's going to even continue to get better in 2015. I know we have a lot of plans for the Second Fridays. But what it's doing is it's bringing people downtown that may necessarily not have been here. And they can see that it's not as bad as the image or the perception may be out there. You know, we know that there's problems. And we appreciate people coming with that constructive criticism and telling us that what they think the major issues are, because that's in most cases what we think or others think that is the major issues. But you're right. I mean, just to be negative and constantly, that does nobody any good. So. And
it's not that you don't want to listen to the negative comments. It's constructive, and that's why I think sometimes people who are in public office, some of them let their egos go, and they want, you know, I mean, they'll be quick to criticize anybody, and someone comes and says, do I want to go into a town like that they're screaming and you know, that everybody hates each other, which is not wholly the case all the time. That's what always bothers me about some of the political situation. I'm not picking on any, and first of all, if you're guilty of it, then you should be ashamed of yourself. You should go into public office with the impression of doing your job, but yes, be critical. If I don't like your stance on something, it's your stance, not Neil DeAngelo. Right. It's your stance, etc. I'm talking to Neil DeAngelo III, folks, who is the president of the Downtown Hazleton Alliance for Progress, and Krista Schneider, who is the executive director. We come back. There is a pledges we're asking people to make. Okay, why? It takes money. And it helps. It's an investment. Really, it's an investment. We'll come back. We'll talk about that after the break. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Great things happening in downtown Hazleton. I know. I'm an optimist here. They are great things happening. We have Neil DeAngelo Jr. here, and also Krista Schneider, who's executive director for the Alliance for Progress, downtown Hazleton. We need money, okay? I mean, you guys, DeAngelo guys, have spent tons of money, okay? But we need money. And what are you looking for in terms of pledges, and why do you need the money?
Well, we need the money. We're looking at a total of a 5-year fundraising plan. So by 2020, we want to be able to have raised or have pledged $1.2 million. That money is necessary for us to, A, continue our operations, to continue to lead, get a foothold, you know, figure out a business plan that'll give us a sustainable source of income moving forward. But the initial 5 years of funding is also necessary to qualify for a Main Street community designation with the Department of Community and Economic Development. We want to have that Main Street designation in order to be able to apply for certain tax credit programs, economic development incentive programs that will make downtown Hazleton even more attractive to investment. So we need that money to, you know, to sustain ourselves for the next 2 years.
It's an investment. Okay, so now the Lesante family, okay, Debbie's the boss, of course. My son, Sammy, and Janine, okay, are making up a pledge, and this is our first check, okay, towards, it's an investment. And this is for the community. I wish it could be $5 million, but the point is, we feel we got to give, and then we'll all benefit from it, okay? And compliments to you, Neil, and to you, Krista, for doing the job that you're doing, okay? Particularly the fact, I mentioned this a number of times, you know, your dad and your uncle decided to make a major investment in people they believed in. They came here, and believe me, it's not an easy task. Your dad and Paul work 24/7. I know it, you know. Krista, you know, we were able to get your great talents and your very positive aggressiveness in a community that we all love and believe in. So I can only wish you the best. I'm hoping that our news department and our programming with Janine and her group has been, you know, been very receptive in getting the word out. So
we want to say the same. Thank you to you for being a, you know, a partner with us.
It's my job. It's my job to do that. No, it's a win-win situation. You know, I mean, we're all excited about it. We all, you know, and we all agree. I mean, I can't disagree with anything you. I wish I could, just to say that disagree with. But everything you guys are doing has just been fabulous. I mean, she's doing a fabulous job, really. I mean, we're lucky to have you. Seriously, folks. If you want to find out more and you want to make a little donation, it'll be great. A little pledge. It's go to their website, downtownhazleton.org. It's a great investment, folks. So whatever you can get, it's something. It's for all of us here. And let's be positive. We'll see you next time.